Welcome back to the channel. This is Ready Storm and you're watching 7th part of What If Naruto Mastered Ancient Shinobi Way. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
The battle was brutal and never ending. How could a person fight an enemy who was never defeated? Even though it was only midday, the enemy was numerous. Damn this paperwork, Naruto grumbled. Stop complaining. Naruto-kun, Hinata said, you would have finished half an hour ago if you didn't complain. If you had let me use Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, I would have finished in 3 hours. As strong as you are, Naruto-kun, you already have 300 of them training and reading, and I don't want you to get tired. There is a mental strain when you release them. However, I can handle it. I don't care, Hinata said as she kissed him on the lips. I am your doctor and your future wife, now hurry up and finish, there are only a few more. Tsubaki, who stood behind Naruto's chair, had grown accustomed to this type of interaction between the lovers, and it had elicited feelings of happiness and devotion for the couple. I have to go, Naruto-kun, those group exercises you requested are about to begin. Okay, he kissed her again, this time deeply, savoring every moment of their embrace. Ahem. Naruto abruptly broke the kiss to look at the two people standing outside the door. Would you mind, Naruto-sama? Wait a moment, Akahoshi, Naruto said as he kissed Hinata again, and what can I do for you? Before that, may I remind you that as our leader, you must always behave appropriately? Akahoshi looked at Hinata to emphasize his point. And may I remind you, even though you are my advisor, that is your leader, you must make your presence known by knocking. My apologies, Kanshisha-sama, he said, turning to Hinata, but aren't you supposed to be at a training session with your squad? Hinata stood up and walked out of the room, pausing only long enough to deliver a message. I am so glad you are taking advantage of your second chance, she said with a heartfelt smile. Have a nice day, Akahoshi-san. With that, Akahoshi bowed lowly as Hinata walked away, her GI sleeves swaying as she walked down the hall. Now, Naruto resumed signing the documents in front of him. What brings you here this morning? Ah, yes, Akahoshi said as he took a folder from the woman standing next to him. The first clients have arrived, Kanshisha-sama, Machiko, Naruto's secretary, stated. And, as the advisor you chose yourself, I thought it would be best if I attended. That's excellent. As Naruto stood up, a puff of smoke erupted from the chair he had previously occupied, and sitting in it was a shadow clone. No one is to enter while I am away, Machiko. Good day, Kanshisha-sama. But Tsubaki stopped Naruto before he could leave the office. Before we go, Uzumaki-sama, she said, pulling a scroll from beneath her cloak, we of the 10 dragons got together to decide what you should wear before Mataza-san left on his mission. What should I wear? Naruto wondered, I already have a lot of clothes. Yes, but you have nothing that distinguishes you as the leader of a powerful new hidden village. She then unraveled the scroll on the floor, revealing its contents. After the smoke cleared, she held a blue haori with red flames printed on the base and the symbol of the hidden storm emblazoned in silver and black on the back. Naruto was perplexed as he took it from Tsubaki and held it. Not only does this identify you as the Kanshisha of Arashigakure no Sado, but it also makes you the sole commander of the 10 dragons, Akahoshi explained. I think it's very appropriate. Tsubaki explained. The flames were supposed to be on the sleeve like your father's, but both Mira-san and Mataza-san insisted that it did not look too similar. Thank you all, Naruto said as he put it on, but let's get going, we can't keep our clients waiting. Naruto walked down the corridor, his new haori billowing behind him and Tsubaki and Akahoshi at his side. Naruto sat in front of a large desk with his secretary, Machiko in front of the door, Akahoshi to his left, and Tsubaki to his right. Welcome madam, sir, Naruto said, how may I assist you? Thank you for coming to see us, Kanshisha-sama, the old man said, holding his wife's hand. I see you're already training a replacement. What foresight. Indeed, the Kanshisha has chosen a very attractive young man to be the next Kanshisha. What is your name, young man? Naruto laughed while holding his stomach, whereas Machiko and Tsubaki were more social and reserved. What does this mean? The man grumbled. How dare you laugh at your customers, boy? The Kanshisha should have you severely punished for your bad manners. What say you, Kanshisha-sama? This only made Naruto laugh harder, infuriating the man even more. Fine. If I'm going to be insulted like this and the so-called founder of New Uzumaki no Kuni isn't going to do anything about it, I'll take my business elsewhere. He got up in a huff, and his wife followed close behind, muttering under his breath as he approached the door. Useless ninja garbage. Despite his best efforts, Naruto heard this quite clearly, and as the man was about to grasp the doorknob, a kunai stuck itself in the door, causing the mane to pale at the close proximity with which it came to his head. He turned around to see the young man who had previously been laughing his head off standing up with one palm on the table and the other hand still in the throwing position. Take a seat, he said calmly, without anger or rage, just a calm demeanor and a sense of authority. The man stuttered, Kanshisha-sama. Why would you allow your subordinate to behave in such a way? He could have killed me. Let me apologize, I should have. Akahoshi began, but was cut off by Naruto's raised hand. I can take any insult anyone throws at me, and most of the time I do, Naruto said as he retook his seat and opened his eyes, but I will not allow my ninjas to be insulted in my presence. What do you mean by your ninjas? The man's wife inquired. Naruto grinned. Please take a seat, he said. I expected people to mistake Akahoshi here for Kanshisha and me as his disciple or something, he said, inviting the couple to sit. I even bet him all the ramen I could eat that would happen. Akahoshi began to groan at that point. He had seen Naruto eat, and when it was ramen, there was no filling him up. He may need to take out a loan. That implies. Yes, I never properly introduced myself. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, Shodai Kanshisha of Arashigakure no Sato, and I am the one you referred to as the founder of New Uzumaki, though I did not do so alone. The two were taken aback when the man jumped out of his chair and prostrated himself on the floor. Please forgive my arrogance, Kanshisha-sama. I had no idea. Don't worry, just stop doing that. In this place, I am merely a dealer of those who may serve you, Naruto explained. Ah, yes, he said, rising from the floor and pulling a scroll from his coat. Wait, is this room safe? It is one of the 5 most protected rooms in this building. There's a reason it's on the inside, why there are no windows, and why it's so small. No one and nothing can get in or out of this room unless Tsubaki, Machiko, Akahoshi, or I allow it. There were 5 special rooms in the main building, 4 of which were specifically designed for each purpose. Kanshisha's office was designed so that anyone could enter, but getting out was a completely different story, and despite having a window, it was only visible from the inside. Furthermore, sounds could enter but not leave. The council chamber was designed to be completely soundproof from both the inside and outside, with no windows, and once inside, it was impossible to get in or out unless everyone left at the same time. The squad meeting rooms were identical in design and soundproof, but they simply locked from the inside and the only keys were held by the 4 squad captains and Naruto. In addition, the mission room, where missions were requested and assigned, was designed to allow sound in but prevent it from escaping, and the room was kept somewhat small in comparison and windowless for added privacy. I see. He took out the scroll and placed it on the desk. I am a businessman from the former Waterfall country, and I intend to open a new business here, but my pain in the ass cousin has taken all of my money. What does this scroll have to do with it? Naruto inquired. The man flushed immediately as his wife laughed. It's sort of an apology and a gift to my cousin. We're not on good terms, and the last time he saw me, he gave me a wedgie. So you want us to deliver this and return the money safely? Akahoshi asked. Yes, and may I make one more request? Sure, as long as you can afford a C-rank mission, Naruto said. Naruto was given a slip of paper with a few words written on it by the man. Naruto burst out laughing as soon as he read it. This is absolutely brilliant, he said. Enjoy the rest of your day, and someone will be by later to collect the payment, and you can expect the job to be completed in 7 days. Just sign your name on the form my assistant will give you. Thank you very much, Kanshisha-sama, he said, pausing for a moment as if recalling something, before asking, can I trust this to stay in this room? That goes without saying, Akahoshi said in place of Naruto. That is, indeed, the purpose of this room, Naruto stated. Naruto continued to snicker after the man had left. What was it that you gave him for free? Naruto's eyes widened as he handed Akahoshi the slip of paper. Naruto-sama, you're not serious. Surely you wouldn't order your subordinates to do something like that. Tsubaki took the paper with a small smile on his face. From what Hinata-sama has told me, he will undoubtedly. This pattern continued until mid-afternoon, which was not bad for the first day. Already, the daimyo had 4 deliveries, 12 escorts, 4 of which were high-ranking government officials, a retrieval, a search and retrieve, and a bandit eradication mission. In other words, things were improving. However, due to the relatively low number of ninjas in the village, Naruto will have to limit the number of missions he accepts. It was a decision he had made from the start. He would not overburden and suffocate his ninja with too many missions just to save face and avoid appearing weak to the other villages. He will accept what he can, and if the client is dissatisfied, so be it. If they prefer to wait a week, so be it. However, securing financial and political standing on the backs of tired and worn-out shinobi makes no sense. In the world of shinobi, all ninja are rivals, and those from different villages are always viewed as enemies, and any opportunity to either take care of an enemy or gain an advantage over them will be eagerly seized. Naruto was unconcerned. It was the first thing Master Kyoshi taught him. Flashback. A ninja who appears to be weak and incompetent is probably far more dangerous than you can imagine. After all, if she was truly that weak and incompetent, she would not be able to survive that long in this world. Take nothing for granted, my student, Master Kyoshi said after being prodded awake. After all, misdirection, treachery, and trickery are the backbones of all ninja, and it is deep within who we are. Flashback closing. That was why he didn't mind looking weak. He knew that the village he had built with his one true love was anything but weak, and if any enemy mistook their meekness for weakness, the roads to and from Arashigakure no Sado would be paved in bone, and the street signs would be painted in their blood. Are you ready, Naruto-sama? Asked Naruto's assistant. Are you ready for what? It's time for you to pay a visit to the children at the academy. They're expecting you, and since most of them don't know who the Kanshisha is, you should go see them. Oh yes, that's right, Naruto said as he rose from his seat. I hear your younger brother is quite popular at the academy, and it would be good to see how he is doing since you are always so busy. That would be fine. As Naruto was about to walk out the door, Machiko shattered the hopes that Naruto had been harboring. Don't worry, Kanshisha-sama, I'll keep the mission requests and other paperwork until you return, she said with a small smile on her lips. It was Hinata Express-sama's orders that your shadow clone not do it. DAMMIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIIII. He yelled as he walked out of the room, closing the door behind him. Hinata-sama is such a sweetheart. I can't believe she gave that order, Akashoshi exclaimed. A chill descended on the room as a shadow fell over Machiko's eyes. Why, you have no idea how that woman is. Sure, she's sweet, kind, and caring, but I swear I saw a demon poking out from behind her when she said, "Make sure he doesn't slack off on his paperwork, please." Akahoshi stared at her dumbly for a moment before bursting out laughing. He stumbled to the door, where the laughter died down a little before resuming when he looked over his shoulder at a pouting Machiko. The academy was buzzing with activity as students sharpened whatever skills they had in preparation for their leader's arrival.
There were 5 classes in the school: Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, and, for the first time, a special advanced class made up of children who had already mastered most of the academy requirements.
Of course, the staff treated these advanced students no differently, but distinction was distinction, and it couldn't be avoided when it shined. "Hey, Reizoku," said one of these boys, "I heard you had a big sister who works for the Kanshisha. Tell me about him." "Why would I do such a thing? It is my clan's responsibility to protect him and his line." "You're staring down at me, Reizoku. Why would I do such a thing?" He smirked. "You aren't worth looking at in general." "What was that, punk? Don't forget that I have far more chakra than you could ever imagine." "Hey, you'll probably reach my level when you're your sister's age. And despite that, you have yet to lay a hand on me," Tsubaki's younger brother replied. "How on earth you managed to get into the advanced class, I will never know. Are you certain your grandfather had nothing to do with it?" "You can take that back, Hanagaki. I earned this position on my own." Kuririn was his given name. Within the Reizoku clan, where one's strength as a skilled thief, weapons user, and assassin was praised above all else, a person's name meant little, and if that name could instill fear due to its meaning, that was an added bonus. However, among the children, naming a boy after a flower was like painting a sign on your back that said, "Hey, over here, pick on me." This was the first thing Kuririn saw when he arrived at the academy. When the roll was called, most of the kids expected to see a dark, moody girl sitting in a corner, not a neatly dressed boy with black hair covering one eye. The girls immediately swooned, and the boys burst out laughing. The situation would have worsened if it hadn't been for his exceptional skill in everything unrelated to chakra. Jubei, the only boy in the old Whirlpool village who had been trained by the old ninja folk, and Kimiko, one of the Fuma clan members, a very gifted one at that, were the only ones who dared to call him that, whether in jest or seriously. They were the advanced students, and they were almost genin. Why were they still enrolled in the academy? They were gifted, but they did not know everything, and giving them such preference solely on that basis would set a bad precedent and shorten their lives. "Did you call me a freak? Who are you referring to as a freak, you chakra-less Hanagaki? I'm going to murder you. Bring it on." A large Fuma shuriken appeared out of nowhere and embedded itself in the ground between them as they charged at each other, ready to pummel each other. "What the hell was that, you crazy bitch?" exclaimed Jubei. "You could have killed us." "Oh please, as if I could ever make such a mistake," she said, flipping her brown hair over her shoulder. "Besides, even though we are way out here in one of the civilian parks, I am sure everyone at the academy can hear your big mouths. Just look around." "She is correct, Jubei." "What?" "We're causing quite a commotion, and also," Kuririn said to Kimiko, who blushed, "for a person not of my clan, you're certainly proficient enough." "Are you saying that the Fuma clan is incapable of using weapons?" "All I'm saying is that we're specialists." "Don't say that, Kuririn," Jubei cautioned. "And neither are you." Kimiko was at his throats in an instant with a kunai and Jubei in the middle of the two. "Don't stop me, Jubei. I'm going to murder Hanagaki." "You cannot." "Is that because he comes from a noble family?" "Of course not," he said as he missed a kick to Kuririn's head, because if you do, I won't be able to. Don't make me laugh, farm boy, as if you can touch him. I'm going to kill you both because I'm not from a clan, he explained. As if, he says. All hell broke loose, with kunai, naginata, and shuriken joining the fray. Excuse me, but have any of you seen Kugakai? A young man in green slacks with blonde hair and whisker marks appeared out of nowhere. Where did he come from? Jubei asked Kimiko. I didn't even notice him, it's as if he landed out of nowhere. I'm not sure, she replied, but he's hot. Hey, Kuro, did you? Kururin stood there ramrod straight with something resembling embarrassing fear of someone he respected, seeing him make a fool of himself. Sorry, sir, an oddly obedient and hero-worshipping voice said, but I am not familiar with that person. Kururin actually held his breath and closed his eyes while the teenage boy smiled and rubbed him on the head. I see, well, thank you very much, he said as he walked away, but paused and asked, don't you kids have somewhere to be? Who are you calling a child? Oh crap, Kimiko exclaimed, the academy, we're already late. Damn it, you're right. Come on, Kuro, Jubei yelled, grabbing Kururin and dragging him along. Hey, thanks. Where did he go? Jubei inquired. He was right there a split second ago. That doesn't matter now, you slowpokes. This will be a piece of cake, Jubei said as he and the others crept quietly into a window. Don't get ahead of yourself, Jubei, Kururin cautioned, we might not make it in time, and it's unlikely that we won't be missed. Stop being such a wuss, we'll get there in time. Shesh, Kimi warned, turning to face Kururin. Kururin nodded in agreement, indicating that he had heard it as well. Jubei's senses were not as refined as those of his colleagues, but he trusted them in situations like this, so all he had to do was wait. Kimiko peeked around the corner with a mirror while Kururin closed his eyes for a moment. They noticed someone walking up the hall as if they had nowhere to go. Who is it, and how long until they get to us? Jubei asked quietly. Kururin displayed one finger to represent seconds, then 3 and 0 to represent 30 seconds. It's that guy from the park, Kimiko said quietly, and what is he doing here? I'm not sure, but let's go the other way. The trio backed away from the corner quietly, then abruptly stopped when they bumped into one another. When they looked at what had stopped them, they were stunned. Hi guys, how you doing? The stranger form earlier asked cheerfully, trying to sneak in after being late. The stranger laughed, as if reminiscing, and turned Jubei and Kimiko around. Alright, you know where you have to go, so let's go. Kururin humbly agreed. Kimiko was overjoyed to have his hands on her, but Jubei was less than eager. Let go. Who the hell are you? He argued. Shut up, stupid, do you know who this is? I don't give a damn if he's Konshishi's son. Just let me go. The stranger ignored him and simply tossed him over his shoulder and carried him kicking and screaming into the indoor training room, where Kururin and Kimiko were close behind, and plopped him on his buttocks in front of everyone. Damn it, he grumbled as he stood up and faced the stranger. I see you met the advanced class, Konshisha-sama. Indeed, Naruto said with a grin, this one here appears to be quite a handful. Please accept my apologies, Konshisha-sama, the teacher said, bowing, he is talented and sometimes gets carried away. That is not an option. Peesh, Jubei slapped Naruto's hand away. As if I'm going to believe that. The real Konshisha's bodyguard is Kurorin's older sister, and I don't see anyone matching that, right Kuro? As he turned to face Kurorin, he pointed to a young woman with short hair standing behind him. If that's the case, then I challenge you. There was a collective gasp. No one could have predicted that a teenager would challenge the most powerful man and leader of the village. A man who built that village and brought two countries together. He couldn't have said anything more idiotic. I'm going to kick your ass for that humiliation, and when I win, I'm going to be the next Kanshisha and teach how to be a true ninja in this academy. I suppose he could. Naruto could only laugh as he sat in an ornate chair prepared by the academy for him. Are you unhappy with the academy curriculum? Hell yeah. Bunshin, Kawarimi, and Henge. That's so lame. I want to learn something really cool like the Konoha Shinobi's Gukakyu no Jutsu. Those three jutsu are the foundation on which all ninja are built, and they are by far the most useful. If you can't see that, you have no business being in the advanced class. And if you're too afraid to take my challenge, you have no right to be the master of this village. You're just a kid playing ninja. Those were the last words Jubei would have said if Naruto hadn't stopped the dozen kunai and one naginata courtesy of Kuririn with his own kunai. Jubei looked at the kunai that had been left on the floor before turning to face Kuririn. Why, you attempted to murder me. Kuririn had never seen the look in Kuririn's eyes before. It was the look of someone who would have no problem killing him. You attempted to kill him, Kuririn, Naruto said calmly. Why would you attempt to kill your ally? Please accept my apologies, Uzumaki-sama, but we of the Reizoku clan cannot sit by and watch as our master is insulted. And anyone who shows hostility to you or insults you, Uzumaki-sama, is an enemy of the Reizoku clan. I see, he said as he stood up, he is still an ally and you are not allowed to kill him until he is proven to be otherwise in my eyes or not a part of the village. Yes, Uzumaki-sama, he said, kneeling. And you, I have decided to accept your challenge. You may find yourself in more trouble than you can handle. This may serve as a wake-up call for you. Okay, when and where would you like to do this? Wait a minute, there are a few catches and conditions. What does it matter? You're still falling. Alright, Tsubaki, let us get started. Naruto smiled and, with a flurry of movement, shut all the doors, impaling every student in the room on various parts of their bodies. It was all over in a matter of seconds. There are 45 of you here, and you have all been injected with a very slow yet potent poison known as the Long Good Night, which we use for information gathering. Naruto rose from his seat as Tsubaki revealed a box from beneath her cloak. You all have only 3 hours left to live, unless you ingest this antidote. Naruto took 5 small vials from the box and tied them to his waist. Is this some kind of joke? Exclaimed Jubei, there is no way you are allowed to do that. Naruto laughed a deep menacing laugh and leaked a hint of killing intent, causing all the kids to realize how serious he was. To make things more equitable, I will limit myself to this building and its immediate surroundings. I will only use Academy Ninjutsu, Taijutsu, and no Genjutsu, and no weapons other than kunai and shuriken, and no one outside you all and I are allowed to help. The students were already sweating profusely, wondering how such a situation could have occurred so suddenly and in the safety of their academy. Many children would take their first steps into the real world of shinobi on this day. Tsubaki took Naruto's seat as the other senseis took their seats, indicating that they would not participate in this. One more thing, children, Naruto mocked, glancing at Jubei, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and if you want to live or even stand a chance, come at me with the intent to kill. Naruto didn't have to say anything because this is how he insisted the children be trained at the academy. Spar with the intent to kill. Anything less would be considered an insult. However, do not spar in anger. That is why taijutsu, ninjutsu, and genjutsu were not taught at first, and even then, defense against all of them was taught first. A swarm of shuriken attacked Naruto before he could finish his sentence.
A kunai appeared in each of Naruto's hands in the blink of an eye, and he began deflecting shuriken away from him.
Ha! Got you now, yelled someone near Naruto's belt. Very clever, Jubei, Naruto said, using the distraction to your advantage. However, if you want to reach my level, you must do far better than that. Jubei snatched at a vial hanging from Naruto's waist before he could make a move, but his hand slipped through the vial. When did Bunshin get a chance to do that? As they watched Jubei slip through Naruto, all of the students were thinking the same thing. They were surprised to hear clapping coming from behind them. They noticed Naruto leaning against the doorframe when they looked up. Is this how you intend to stay alive? He inquired as he entered the hall. If this is all you have, I have no use for you as one of my subordinates. The students dashed into the hall, but he was gone as soon as they arrived. There were only a few pictures, a pair of ninjutsu, and a potted plant in the hall. The students fanned out across the academy grounds, searching furiously. One lone first-year girl from the Kitsumaru clan, judging by her slightly cat-like eyes, as she searched the building, stopped at a broom leaning in the corner, despite the fact that there was no broom closet in that particular hall, but she eventually left it and continued on her way. She made a stupid mistake, but she will surely learn from it because as she turned her back, she felt a sudden shock to her neck and then succumbed to darkness. She was thrown over the shoulder of an academy student, bound and gagged, and stuffed in a room before the door was locked. The perpetrator checked his watch. 2 hours and 45 minutes had already passed in his little game. He skipped down the hall towards the exit, knowing that the others would be looking for him outside by now. He assumed the identity of the little girl without making a sound or using hand seals. Return to the gym. Tsubaki sat in Naruto's chair, staring at the walls, unconcerned or caring. The gym had no windows to prevent accidental injury to anyone standing outside, which was unlikely given that the only other people in Arashigakure no Sato's ninja-only zone were other ninja. Tsubaki stood up from his chair, looked at the wall, and walked towards the door. Tsubaki-san, one of the male senseis, a chunin, asked, "Where are you going?" Tsubaki looked at the man, then at the clock, and the man looked at the clock again before realizing what was going on. It was 5 minutes to 6, the time limit was approaching, and he wanted to see how the students reacted. "Oh, I see. May I join you?" Tsubaki did not respond, instead turning towards the door and continuing towards the academy's back entrance, where the training field was. I guess that's a yes, he thought to himself. Tsubaki was approached by a man holding a scroll as she approached the door. "This is an important message from the Hokage of Konoha to Kanshisha-sama," the man said. It was delivered by a Konoha Anbu team, and steps were taken to ensure that it was not tampered with, and it was rushed here as soon as the authenticity was confirmed. "Very good," Tsubaki said, "but Uzumaki-sama is currently busy, so I will deliver it." "Very well," he said as he handed over the scroll. "Tsubaki-sama, may I stay and make sure he gets it?" "Of course, if you don't, I'll be disappointed." 7 students stood in the academy's back training grounds, looking around for trees, boulders, and anything else that looked like it could provide cover. "Where is everyone?" Kimiko wondered as she examined the other people's expressions. "It doesn't matter," Jubei said, "it just means we don't have to fight to survive. I'm not sure how much resistance we can muster in our state." Enlightened Kururin. The poison was really taking its toll. Even Jubei was speaking less and sweating profusely. Kimiko has already vomited twice. One of the boys with them heard rustling in the bush and charged it with a battle cry and a sword ready to kill for his life out of sheer desperation. Then they heard a sword swing, a loud scream, a dull thud, and the sound of a body hitting the ground. The last point was demonstrated when the unfortunate boy's hand was seen as his body made contact with the ground, only to vanish behind a bush as the body was dragged away. The other student observed the scene and then looked at each other, hoping that someone else would go and take down the opponent. "What exactly are you looking at?" One girl froze as they heard their Konshisha's all too familiar voice, while the others dashed away, leaving her to her fate. Now it's 5? Naruto inquired. What do you mean? Asked another fourth-year student. There are still quite a few of us. You don't pay attention to your surroundings. How pitiful, Naruto spat. You 6, including this pretty young lady here, are the last. They were all taken aback. Within 3 hours, this man took out every student with nothing but Academy Ninjutsu, no Genjutsu or Taijutsu, and not a single scratch on him. Who are you? Kimiko inquired. Perhaps someday you will become a true ninja of this village and you will know, but for now, your time has come to an end. As he said this, the alarm he had set went off. Kimiko began to cry sadly, Kuririn collapsed to his knees, and Jubei refused to die without a fight. The other 2 children simply stood there, their eyes welling up with tears as they prepared to die. However, nothing happened after a while. How come we aren't dead? Inquired the other boy. Follow me and you'll find out, Naruto said as he walked back into the building. Kimiko, get that boy from behind those bushes. Hello, Konshisha-sama, she introduced herself. The students were all back in the gym, listening to Naruto, who was not happy. There are 45 of you and only one of me, he began. I limited myself to academy-level jutsu and did not use genjutsu, yet you could not even find me and could not touch me in open fights. How could we? You're far stronger and faster than any of us, a young boy exclaimed. That is no excuse, he yelled, silencing the boy. As a ninja, you will face an enemy who is superior to you in many ways, and you will have no hope of survival or rescue. How do you think you will survive? The answer is sitting in front of you, to the sides of you, and behind you, Naruto explained. You must learn to work as a team, regardless of how you feel about the person. Your very life may depend on him or her. He came to a halt to take in this new information. Had this been real, you'd all be dead or worse, Naruto said. Your utter selfishness and lack of coordination was terrible, and I hold you 3 completely responsible. Naruto indicated Kuririn, Jubei, and Kimiko. You 3 are the senior-most students here, and as a result, the responsibility of leadership falls on your heads, not just Jubei, Naruto said, smiling. However, all is not lost. You all performed well by execution of techniques and tactics, and your weapons usage and taijutsu are superb considering your ages, and the fact that a few of you were able to spot my henge was impressive, also well done with the stealth, without it you have no hope of. Tsubaki and the other ninja took a side and waited as Naruto approached the students. You are the future of this great village. We are a small village and by far the youngest, so we will be picked on by larger nations. However, do not let that deter you. We will take that and use it to our advantage. Do not let numbers deter you. Be a genin with the strength of 10 other genin and let that follow you through your career. A chunin with the strength of 10 other chunin and powerful as. With that, he exited the room to cheers and applause, flanked by Tsubaki on his right and the other ninja on his left. If the words he spoke are taken to heart, the storm will be a name to be reckoned with, and if the sounds of the students and what he saw were any indication, the future was certain. Tsubaki stated, there is a message from the Hokage, Uzumaki-sama. I guess that's why he's here, Naruto grinned, nodding to the other ninja. What is this message sent by Tsunade no Ban? Tsubaki handed him the scroll, which Naruto read and reread. Calling the council and my advisor, Naruto said. Tsubaki, summon all available dragons, Hinata, and all department heads, and instruct them to meet me in the council room as soon as possible. At once, Konshisha-sama, they both said in unison, and then vanished. As he read a section of the letter, Naruto continued to walk out of the academy. Arashigakure no Sato and Konohagakure no Sato's alliance. 3 children were attempting to get training from Naruto as he stepped out the front door of the academy, but as they prepared to pounce, he turned around and smiled at them as the wind picked up and swirled around him, and as it died, he was gone. "I'm going to learn to do that someday," Jubei said. Kimiko could only say, "He's so hot." In the council room, the counselors, 2 of the department heads, 5 of the 10 dragons, and Naruto's advisor were gathered. They had no idea why they were here, but Naruto had summoned them, so they would find out soon. Suddenly, the door opened, and Naruto entered, Hinata by his side and Tsubaki close behind. Hinata and Tsubaki sat down, Hinata with the department heads and Tsubaki with the dragons. "I received word today of an opportunity that has presented itself, and I am currently considering it. However, due to the nature of this opportunity and the nature of the majority of the ninja in this village, it is critical that I discuss it with all of you." "What is this opportunity, Naruto-sama?" Shibuki, a counselor and former leader of the Waterfall Village, inquired. "Konohagakure no Sato's Hokage has requested an alliance with Arashigakure." The room was already quiet, but now it was as silent as a graveyard. The issue was with some of the villagers' ninja, such as Hagen Riku, an S-class missing nin, and the fact that Hinata was also a missing nin of the village, the heiress of their most powerful clan, and possessed a valuable Kekkei Genkai made things even more difficult. There were other missing nin, such as Kai, who became missing nin through no fault of their own, and he is a Uchiha by blood, so the possibility of the storm gaining legendary Dujutsu could be seen as a security threat and a mockery to Konoha. That could be an issue, Megan Tosuke realized, but given Kanshisha relationship Sama's with the current Hokage, many of these issues can be overlooked. "I agree," Akahoshi said, "let us talk about terms we can work out." "Hold it right there," Kai said. "What is it now?" Akahoshi asked, his face grim. "I believe we are all missing something, and I believe Hinata-sama and Kanshisha-sama understand what I mean." "And what would this be?" Fuma Hanzaki inquired. "Hiyashi Hyuga." He didn't need to say much more because just mentioning the name Hyuga meant a lot of power. "Excuse my interruption, but what does Hyuga Hiyashi have to do with this other than being Hinata father?" Sama's Sasarama Tanoko inquired. "Allow me, if you will," Hinata said, and everyone fell silent. "Certainly, Lady Hinata. As most or all of you may know, Hyuga Hiyashi is the current head of the Hyuga clan and my father, but what you may not know is that he has enough influence in Konoha's higher-ups and, as seen by Naruto and experienced by Kai-san, the Hokage cannot take control of everything that occurs, so the Konoha Council and people like Hiyashi and other clan leaders are a cause for concern." She then looked sad, as if she was ashamed of her former clan. Hyuga Hiyashi is the type of person who will go to any length to ensure the clan's Kekkei Genkai's safety and protection. The room abruptly became silent. They've all heard about the Hyuga clan using a seal on the branch family, a seal that most people wouldn't put on their pets. Would Hyuga Hiyashi place such a seal on his own daughter's head? And the fact that Kai's children, if he has any, may develop the Sharingan is cause for concern, as Konoha is quite possessive of their bloodlines, Akahoshi added. The room fell silent again. "I think I'll go along with the alliance," Naruto said. It wouldn't take a genius to see that with just the Kuga clan, Sasarama clan, Kitsumaru clan, Hikari clan, Reizoku clan, and Kumori clan, despite being small, insignificant, and new, we would become the most powerful village on the continent within a few years. "I see," Hanzaki said, "they want to form an alliance with a young power that will inevitably grow into a great power." "That or keep an eye on us," Kanta said, looking as crazy as ever. "Ah, yes. That could be their goal as well." The people in the room were troubled by this because the most important aspect of a hidden village is that they keep certain things hidden. Having an ally whose sole purpose is to keep you in check is not beneficial in the least. "What do you think we should do, Naruto-sama?" Shibuki inquired. We stay true to who we are. We are suspicious, but not openly so, Naruto explained. But most importantly, we treat this with the same care and respect that we would treat fire, carefully and never letting it out of our sight. Well said, Naruto-sama, for once a young, your wisdom continues to astound me. Hanzaki seemed to remember something after saying this. By the way, I think you're forgetting probably the strongest potential clan of all, Naruto-sama. I really hope I didn't offend anyone, she says. Haha, Uzumaki, it's your own clan. Oh, Naruto paused. There's one more thing. We have 3 extremely dangerous forbidden items in our possession: the Hoshigakure star, the waterfall water, and the elemental blades. Given that we are a fusion of Hoshi and waterfall, it is reasonable to expect that 2 of these items will be raised. If I may, Sasurama Tanoko asked, and then continued, the water of the waterfall is most likely still unknown to them. We never told anyone about it, and only the waterfall ninja was aware of its existence. I see, no problem then, Riku said. Tell them only when they ask and nothing too relevant. We do need to keep our secrets after all. I couldn't have put it better myself, Shibuki said. So it's decided. Everyone nodded. We'll form an alliance with the village hidden in the leaves. Send a messenger as soon as we're finished saying I'll be there in 5 days with an escort to start talks. Hello, Kanshisha-sama, Kanta replied. How about Hiyashi? Inquired Fuma Danjo. I'll deal with him, Hinata said. Are you certain, Hinata-chan? Naruto inquired, concerned. Yes, I am not the same timid little girl he once thought was a disgrace. Her eyes were firm and her words were deliberate and unwavering. It is high time the all-seeing Hyuga see how blind they truly are. Very well, Naruto said, smiling with his beloved. I'd like Fuma Danjo and Hikari Shigur to accompany us along with Tsubaki. Understood, they all said at the same time. If I may, Kanshisha-sama, I am fairly adept at dealing with the political types that exist in Konoha, so may I accompany you to ensure they do not cross the line? Well, since I am inexperienced in such matters and you are a powerful ninja who can use the Kujaku Mai, you are welcome to accompany me. Thank you, Kanshisha-sama. I will not disappoint you. I know, Naruto said, but we're leaving in the morning, and while I'm gone, Megan Tosuke will be in charge, and if you need anything, just ask Shibuki. Good day, Kanshisha-sama. Tosuke swears he heard chuckling from his fellow counselors and a sigh of relief from Shibuki, but when he looked to his sides, it was completely gone. Maybe he was out of practice or he spent too much time looking over his grandson Jubei, but there is no way anyone could be relieved not to be the leader of such a village. Alright, that's all, you're all dismissed. The doors opened, and everyone filed out, leaving only Naruto and Hinata. Are you certain, Hinata-chan, that you want to do this? Naruto asked, pulling her closer to him as she snuggled up next to him. I know how you feel about your family and that you left. Hiyashi may wish for you to remain or to have that seal placed on your forehead. If he continues to do so, I will. Before he could finish, she placed a finger over his lips and smiled contently into his eyes. I love you, Naruto-kun, but he is my father, and this is something I must do myself, she explained. But don't worry, my Itenpai, she said, the only people who can match me in gentle fist right now are you, Master Kiyoshi, and possibly Akira-ne-chan. There's no need to be concerned because my eyes are far more powerful than even Neji's. I know, I can't help myself. They mistreated you for so long, and I didn't even notice how you felt about me, he sighed. Just do me one favor. What is it? Give me a kick when you're finished. Sure thing, hee hee hee. Are you sure they'll be here today, Tsunade-sama? Shizune inquired as they waited by the gate. They were accompanied by a team of Anbu and Kakashi's team because they were the only ones with first-hand experience with the new village. Despite the council's approval of the alliance, they were weary of this new village and its so-called Kanshisha, but their approval did not come without a price. they planned to squeeze the new village for everything of value they had, and if that did not work, complete submission was always an acceptable second. For the last time, Shizune, Tsunade grumbled, "That's what the messenger said, and it's been 5 days." Tsunade then cast a sidelong glance at Kakashi. Unless he's picked up some of Kakashi's bad habits. "Tsunade-sama, it appears that they have arrived," one of the Anbu said, his gaze fixed on the sky. Tsunade looked in the same direction as the Anbu to see what he was talking about, but whatever she was expecting to see was most likely not a flying person with pink chakra wings. "Kakashi?" she said, waiting for confirmation. "He is correct," Kakashi confirmed, then added, "From our brief encounter with the Kanshisha, one of his elites appears to be a user of the mystical peacock technique, and from our limited knowledge of its capabilities, I can confirm that that is Hikari Shigure." However, Kakashi? Tsunade inquired. Shino was the one who responded this time. "She doesn't appear to be transporting her pet." "Does that matter?" "I'm not sure, Hokage-sama." The conversation ended there as the flying woman circled for a while before flying back in the direction she came, and not long after, the Kanshisha, dressed in his haori over a formal kimono, arrived at Konoha's gates, flanked by Hinata to his right, who looked far more confident and radiant than she had ever appeared to the Konoha shinobi, and on his left was the stoic form of Tsubaki. Behind them was Akahoshi and Fu. Shigure stepped away, allowing Naruto and Hinata to walk forward. The way they carried themselves with such fluidity, confidence, and strength slightly unnerved the Anbu unit, who immediately knew who this man was from his features. They looked regal yet approachable, and had the presence of an old seasoned professional, the kind of aura that told you that you were in the presence of a living legend. "I, Uzumaki Naruto, Shodai Kanshisha of Arashigakure no Sado, have come to begin negotiations on our village's alliance." Of course, those who had known him in the past did not expect this. It was expected, but not from Naruto, and others were even more surprised to learn who their new allies' leader was. However, all of that would have to wait as Tsunade returned the greeting. "My name is Senju Tsunade, the Godem Hokage of Konohagakure no Sado, and I greet you." With that, the two bowed to each other, and Naruto's group entered the village. Tsunade dashed forward, engulfing Naruto in a ferocious mother-like hug, which was barely discernible by most of those present. "You had me worried all this time, Naruto-kun," she said, clutching him to her chest. "What have you two been up to all this time?" She let go of him in her embrace and motioned for him to follow her. "Just creating new villages and countries," he joked. "Of course I didn't do all of that on my own, right Hinata-chan?" Hinata only looked at him and smiled that heartwarming smile reserved for him alone. Hyuga Hiyashi was currently training his daughter, Hyuga Hanabi, in the finer points of the Juken style. As Hanabi evaded, sidestepped, and lashed out against her sparring partner, Neji, a tap came at the door, causing the two young nin to stop their practice as Neji opened the door, revealing the person on the other side to be a branch member. "I told you not to disturb me," Hiyashi said firmly as he walked up behind Neji. "Why have I been disturbed?" "Please forgive me, Hyuga-sama, but I have important news. If it's about the arrival of that village leader with whom Konoha is to form an alliance, I'm not interested." "It is, but there is something you should know about it." "Well, what news do you have?" "The new village's leader is none other than the Jinchuriki, Uzumaki Naruto, who is accompanied by your other daughter, Hyuga Hinata. She also wears their symbol around her neck." "What?" Hanabi exclaimed, but she was quickly silenced by a stern look from Hiyashi. "Pardon my outburst, father," Hanabi apologized. "Are you sure?" "Yes, Hiyashi-sama, I saw them greet the Hokage myself, and Uzumaki's blue eyes, blonde hair, and whisker marks are unmistakable." "I see," he said, turning around and placing his hand behind his back in a contemplative position. "And what about Hinata?" "Your lord?" How can you be sure it's her? Despite her longer hair and different demeanor, she is the only missing Hyuga, and her Byakugan eyes prove her identity and heritage. You did well. You may depart now. Thank you very much, Hyuga-sama. Hiyashi turned on his heel and walked quickly towards the other exit as he left. Today's session has been cancelled. You are free to do whatever you want for the rest of the day. He was stopped from leaving by his last child. Is Nei-san coming back, father? We'll have to see. He then left, leaving Neji and Hanabi to their own devices. However, Neji stayed for only an hour and sparred with Hanabi before leaving through the other exit. What are you up to, Neji-ni-san? I'm going to see an old friend and, if I'm lucky, maybe a relative, Neji said as he exited the dojo. Since I don't have anything else to do, I might as well. Also in Earth Country. Tsuchikage-sama, we have just received word that the Storm Village is currently without its Kanshisha, as well as 5 of its most powerful shinobi. The Tsuchikage raised his head from his paperwork to face the woman who had barged into his office. Oh, and where did this intelligence originate? We're not sure. That message was strapped to the leg of a bird that flew in this morning. If this information is correct, it could be the perfect opportunity for us. I expected your reaction and had our spies investigate. And what did they discover? The Tsuchikage inquired. Don't keep an old man waiting. Our spies inform us that the Kanshisha will indeed leave the village at Konoha to discuss an alliance with them, and 5 of their most powerful ninja, excluding the Kanshisha and the Hyuga, are currently on assignment, including those he took with him. Who is in charge right now? We're not certain. That idiot. The Tsuchikage leaned back in his seat and thought for a moment before a slow grin spread across his face. Assemble the Junin, it's about time we put Kanshisha in his place. But what about Konoha? If they don't get the news and can't prove who did it, there's nothing they can do without starting another great ninja war. That's how alliances work in the ninja world, he said as he spun his chair around. Now go, I want to make this quick and precise. As you direct. Our fallen brethren will be avenged soon, and the balance will be returned, the woman thought as she walked out of Tsuchikage's office. As Naruto and company made their way through Konoha, he couldn't help but notice all the looks he was getting from the citizens. Growing up with oppressive stares had made him immune to hateful stares to the point where he didn't notice it if it was directed at him, but what caught his attention was that the stares were not hateful or angry in the least, but rather disbelief, fear, and pride? What exactly is going on here? It's as if they regard me as some sort of hero, he thought to himself. It appears that your dream of becoming a hero came true without your knowledge, Naruto-kun, Hinata said quietly. How can it be, Tsunade no Ba-chan? Tsunade only smiled at him and didn't say anything. She knew she'd never see him become Hokage because he was the leader of another village, but even that wasn't enough to keep him from receiving the respect he deserved, especially from those who had denied it to him for so long. They eventually arrived at a part of the village Naruto had never visited before. It was quiet, with few to no people around and no houses except for a large Japanese-style mansion. Tsunade led them to the mansion, where they removed their shoes at the front door. Before you go any further, Naruto, Tsunade said, only one armed individual per side is allowed beyond this point. Shizune will direct you to where we will hold our discussions once you have decided on who that individual will be. That is a very good system, Hokage-sama. Akahoshi scratched his chin, but, with all due respect, how do we know Konoha will follow these rules? It's simple, she said as she walked away, we have our pride. Tsunade then walked through the house and disappeared at the end of the corridor. It was decided that Tsubaki would keep her weapons because she is the least proficient without them and carried the most at the time, Danjo didn't need weapons, and Shigure herself was practically a walking all-arsenal. Naruto, Hinata, and Akahoshi, on the other hand, didn't walk with weapons to begin with. Naruto, Hinata, and Akahoshi sat in seiza position around a low, round, wooden table with Tsunade, Danzo, Kaharu, and Homura seated in a similar position opposite them, while Tsubaki, Shigure, and Koko and Danjo stood on the deck with the other Anbu overlooking the village heads as Shizune served tea. Naruto raised his hands as everything appeared to be in order and Tsunade was about to begin. "Please accept my apologies," he said, "but it appears that there is one more to come." As he spoke, the sliding door opened, revealing Hyuga Hiyashi, his features as blank and regal as ever. "It appears that I am late," he apologized as he walked to the table and bowed respectfully. "Please forgive me." "I thought you weren't coming, Hiyashi," Tsunade said, not looking at him, "but we were about to start, so take a position." "I appreciate it very much, Hokage-sama." He strutted calmly to an empty space and assumed the seiza position while Shizune poured his tea, not once looking at Hinata. Tsunade cleared her throat to get their attention. "Arashigakure no Sato has requested an alliance with Konohagakure no Sato, and we are here to discuss the terms." She then turned to Naruto. "Kanshisha-sama, is there anything you would like to say?" "Thank you, Hokage-sama," Naruto said after a brief pause. "In the interest of forging strong bonds and camaraderie between our two villages, I ask, what are your terms?" "There are four main types of ninja in the shinobi world. Medic nins, who save the lives of their fellow shinobi and can be unexpectedly lethal due to their intimate knowledge of the human body. Hunter nins, who are the relentless guardians of their village's secrets and are more power than finesse and only the most loyal and powerful can be won. Assassins, who are the merchants of death, they are like mortal reapers of soul, weapons that are deadly even, but there is another type of ninja who lives by their own rules and knows no bounds. They are spies. They are masters of disguise, espionage, and intrigue, and can bring not only death but also disaster to whomever and wherever they choose. No secret is safe from them, no diplomacy works, and no prison can contain them. Orochimaru was an assassin, Tsunade was a medic, and Jiraiya was a spy among the legendary Sannin. Even though Jiraiya was well known for his strength and ability to summon toads, the fact that he was not well known for being a spy only demonstrated how effective he was. There was nowhere he couldn't go and no information that eluded him for long. He could be the only reason Orochimaru changed locations so frequently. He was the only one who could find Tsunade when she needed to be found. Why bring up such a sensitive subject? When dealing with sensitive matters, such as one of the 5 most powerful shinobi villages banding together to destroy you, only one good spy is required to foil that entire plan and bring them to their knees. You go ahead, I'll catch up later, the ninja said, turning down the adjacent street and then into an alley. What are you doing out here? He asked a woman who was staring at him in hushed tones. She simply turned and walked deeper into the alley, her hips swaying seductively. Hey, I'm talking to you, he said as he ran up to her, grabbed her arm, and turned her around, saying, You bitch, don't walk away when I'm talking to you. The woman did not flinch or recoil in fear, but instead smiled seductively and pressed her ample breasts against his chest, tickling beneath his chin with her finger. Is that any way to talk to a lady? She asked as she slid her hands down his chest. Just shut up and kiss me, he said forcefully, but was stopped by a finger over his lips. Come on bitch, what are you doing? I need it. He tried another move but was abruptly stopped by the presence of a cold, sharp object. When he looked down, he discovered a kunai poised to end his family line. He wanted to lash out, to show this woman the power of an Iwa Chunin, but there was something wrong. His mind was foggy, his body ached everywhere, he was sweating profusely, and his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Going what's on with me? He wondered. Don't worry, she said as she drew the blade, "It's just a minor withdrawal symptom. You won't feel so bad once I kiss you again. However, I don't do shit like that." The seductress only winked and giggled at him. "My lips," she admitted, "aren't they addictive?" He finally realized what was going on. "You seem to have finally understood," she said solemnly. "What you're addicted to makes you more dependent on it the more you get it. I'll give you what you need if you tell me what I want to know." "What do you think I am?" the ninja asked defiantly as he walked away. "I am an Iwa Chunin, and I will not kneel to anyone." "Suit yourself. But you know where to find me if you change your mind." When the man left, the smile returned. No one has ever survived the lust of the Kitsamara clan on their own, especially Kitsamara Mira of the 10 Dragons. Returning to Konoha. "If that is the case, then let me begin," Homura said as he unraveled a scroll. "We would like to know the identities of Sukihana and Itenpai, access to the former Hoshigakure no Sado, physical support if necessary, free passage through your borders, and finally." He looked to Hiyashi for approval, and Hiyashi nodded. The Hyuga heiress Hyuga Hinata's return. That last demand had not been mentioned to Tsunade, but she was not surprised. She was only surprised that they had mentioned it at all. She looked across the table to gauge the reactions of the storm delegate only to find complete calm. No one looked frantic or disturbed in the least. In fact, they appeared to be amused. "There appears to be an error, Homura-san," Hiyashi said for the first time. "Though she is Hyuga by birth, I can no longer accept her as the clan heir or as a member of the clan." For a brief moment, silence reigned until Naruto broke it. "I shall address all your demands in order of request," Naruto said, evenly and calmly. "I don't know why it is so important to find out that piece of information, but the identities of Sukihana and Itenpai were not originally intended to be a secret identity. It was my and Hinata's pet name for each other." "Are you saying that you and Hinata were the two powerful shinobi who defeated the Earth Army and 50 Iwa shinobi?" "We didn't do it alone. The 3 guards I brought with me were also a part of it," he explained before returning to his work. "Should the need arise, assistance will be sent to the best of our ability and as quickly as possible." He sipped his tea. "But in Arashigakure no Sado, you must give prior notice, carry a passport, and you will be accompanied by someone throughout your stay." This appeared to satisfy everyone, and the next issue was quickly launched. "Alright. Next, the former Hoshigakure's star," Naruto sighed before continuing. "That is a forbidden item of the storm and will never see the light of day again." "So you want an alliance but don't want to share your power?" Danzo inquired. "I don't think you understand. We don't want it, we just want access to it, and you don't have to move it from where it is." Naruto burst out laughing, making Danzo feel insulted, if the deeper wrinkles on his face and tightening grip on his cane were any indication. "Please forgive our Kanshisha, Hokage-sama, Danzo-sama, respected council, and Hyuga-sama," Akahoshi said as the temperature rose. He's probably remembering a funny moment from the past. "No, that's not it," Naruto said, wiping away mock tears. "It's just that you're almost as cunning as the fox that lives within me, almost."
Hinata chuckled quietly behind her flowing sleeves, and Tsunade smiled from ear to ear on the inside.
It was no secret what kind of person Danzo was. If it had come from someone else, he might have taken it as a compliment. "Please remember, Naruto-san, that you are a guest in my village, and no insults will be tolerated," Tsunade began. "Understood. Please accept my apologies, Danzo-san." "No harm done," he said dismissively, "but you have yet to provide us with a proper reason for not sharing the power of the star." "To put it simply, it is a death sentence." Naruto paused to let the words sink in. "All who have ever used it have all died horrible deaths during training, and those who survived the training have all died painful meaningless deaths sometime later on. The records of Hoshigakure tell us that there were only 4 shinobi who were exceptionally talented. 2 of them died due to its power, and their son is currently a chunin of my village." I see what you're saying, Kanshisha-sama, Tsunade replied, but what about the one we saw flying earlier today, is that the fourth person? That would be Shigur. She is the only one who will not perish as a result of it because it has become a part of her. What do you mean? Stop speaking in riddles. Kaharu retorted. He means she's created a new bloodline. Yes, everyone else who survived the timed star training walk. Those gathered fell silent. Some even suspected that they were craving too much power too quickly. If Naruto had been a different person, he would have given it to them without warning and then watched as their shinobi forces shrank to a handful. Now for your final request. Naruto was about to make his decision when Hinata lightly touched him on the leg. What is it, Hinata-chan? He asked quietly. She leaned in and whispered something into his ear, and whatever she said made him brighten up and plaster a grin on his face, the same fox grin he was famous for when he was about to do something unexpected. After seeing Naruto's face, Akahoshi asked, Uzumaki-sama? Naruto approached him and informed him of the plan. I cannot let you go ahead with that, Uzumaki-sama. There is too much risk, he replied to Naruto. No, the risks are far lower than you think. Have faith in your leader, he couldn't argue. Before I respond, please take a look at this scroll, Hinata said, handing a scroll to Tsunade, who passed it on to the rest of her contingent. These people, including Hinata-san, are all in Konoha's bingo book, Danzo explained. How do you want us to handle them? Naruto only said, remove them. What? Exclaimed Homura. You've got to be kidding. There's no way we'd remove these names. I expected you to say something like that, but these people are no longer just missing nin. They are loyal ninja of Arashigakure, and one of them may one day come to your aid. They began to whisper amongst themselves, debating the best course of action in this situation. Can you guarantee that if these shinobi are removed from our bingo book, they will no longer pose a threat? As long as we are allies, they will pose no greater threat to you than I do to you, Hokage-sama. Tsunade benefited from such a statement because Naruto regarded her as more of a family member than any ordinary person or authority figure. However, the rest of the assembled parties on the Konoha side interpreted it differently. Very well, Danzo said, but we still insist that Hyuga Hinata return to the Hidden Leaf to answer for her crimes. Ah, yes, Hinata-chan, we expected as much. We certainly did, Naruto-kun, she cleared her throat, but I cannot, under normal circumstances, return to the Hidden Leaf as anything other than a representative of Arashi because I am not only a kunoichi of the storm, but also the head of the assassination department. That was most likely the most shocking thing they'd heard all day. Hinata, assassin and mastermind of other assassins? There was no way she could have changed physically in less than 3 years to become the type of person who carried out assassinations and ordered assassinations. Hiashi, no longer willing to accept such an insult, audibly placed his cup of tea on the table. Do you think we're fools? Hiashi asked. I know my daughter, and she's not capable of becoming that. What's the matter, Hiashi? Naruto inquired, are you afraid of becoming her target? How dare you, he exclaimed, do you think an inept kunoichi like her can ever hope to come within 50 feet of killing me? No, Hiashi, you should know your place. Your arrogance is astounding and will be dealt with, Naruto said as he slapped his hands on the table. Hiashi took pleasure in making him lose his cool and continued to prod. And do you think you'll be the one to put it away? He smirked. I recall you almost dying on your last serious mission. Naruto smiled at him, knowing what Hiashi was up to. Hiashi would irritate Naruto to the point where he would either lash out or reveal information about himself. In either case, it would have been a great plan. Years ago, but such a ruse would no longer work. Ha ha ha. Yes, that mission was a disaster, 2 critically injured and 1 presumed dead, Naruto said, smiling. But in the end, I came out on top. Sasuke is still Orochimaru's lackey and I. Well, you have heard of my influence and power. Everyone was silent as he practically boasted about himself without ever revealing anything. So, Hiyashi-san, do you think my place is so far away from yours that you don't need to fear me, or Hinata? Hiyashi stated, nothing but talk. Take it how you want, Naruto said, but I will not be the one to put your arrogance away. There is a better candidate for the job. And who could that be? I am. If Naruto was the most surprising shinobi, Hinata would soon catch up if she kept doing this. What did you say? Hiyashi inquired. I won't repeat myself to you, she said as she turned to face Tsunade, but I have a proposal for you if you're willing to hear it. I'm paying attention. A duel between Hiyashi Hyuga and myself. If he wins, I will return to Konoha as a prisoner, and the alliance will remain unaffected. And what if you win? Kaharu asked, probably just to be safe. If I win, this whole thing about me returning to Konoha is off the table, and he gives his blessings for Naruto and I to marry and to invite whoever I want to the wedding. I will admit that you have changed over the years, but you are still weak and appear to have grown only in foolishness to challenge me. Are you refusing to accept a direct challenge? I will not tarnish the name of the Hyuga by abusing the weak. Hold on a second, Hiyashi, Danzo said quietly as he leaned in close to Hiyashi's ear.
This may be the only way to correct your error.
I don't like how he put it, but if they're telling the truth, she's a powerful figure in her new village, and this may be the only peaceful way to ensure that the Byakugan doesn't fall into the hands of another village, Homura added. I see, he said to himself before speaking to her. Very well, I will accept your challenge. It will be a shinobi duel, but you must first prove yourself. It doesn't matter, she declared. Well, that seems to settle it, Tsunade said. You shall fight tomorrow morning at training ground number 1, unless there is anything else. Yes, we provide physical support if necessary, and we also provide intelligence on your enemies if you do the same for us. I have no problem with that, Tsunade said, and Danzo, the council, and Hiyashi all agreed. It appears that's all for today, Tsunade said, adding, we'll all meet tomorrow morning at training ground number 1, good day everyone. The counselors, Danzo and Hiyashi, stood up and walked out without saying anything. Tsunade smiled and rustled Naruto's hair after they left. You would have made an excellent Hokage, Naruto-kun, she said. I told you I'd come back, but where are you going now? He inquired. Tsunade sighed deeply. Paperwork. I feel your pain, Naruto said, adding, fortunately, I got someone who didn't know any better to take over for me while I'm gone. Back in Arashi, Megan Tosuke sneezed and wiped his nose, wishing he could strangle Naruto the next time he saw him. That guy knew the others wouldn't like it. Back in Konoha, the meeting had concluded, and Naruto was meditating in the mansion when he sensed a presence approaching the door, and he called out to the person by name to enter before they could introduce themselves. Naruto, how did you know it was me? Something I picked up, he explained as he invited Kakashi to join him on the tatami-covered floor, and what can I do for you? Actually, I can help you with that. What exactly is that? Assist you in finishing the Rasengan. What exactly do you have in mind? Not here, Kakashi said, but meet me at training ground 35 this evening at 6 o'clock and we'll start. Alright, I'll be there. Later that evening in Iwa, Kitsumara Mira heard a loud drumming on her door, just as she had put a pot on to make some tea for an expected guest. She walked to the door to peek through the viewing hole, and when she saw who it was, she smiled and opened the door to let the disheveled man in. You're just in time, she said as she shut the door behind him. What do I owe this joy? Please, the man pleaded as he knelt and grasped her leg. I only need a little, just a little. To get me through. She looked at him with something resembling sympathy in her eyes, but one could never be sure with Mira, and she bent down and raised his chin to meet her teary eyes with his teary own. Ah, my poor baby, she rubbed his cheeks, if that's what you want, then you'll get it. She brought her lips closer to his and stopped with only millimeters to go. Of course, you still haven't given me my fee, he said angrily, looking at her. All you have to do is tell me what's going on, and you can have what you so desperately want. He struggled with himself for a while, but in the end he couldn't take it any longer. It was just too much for him to handle, and he had reached his limit. Tsuchikage is plotting to assault Arashigakure. She smiled at him and kissed him deeply and passionately despite the lack of feelings. His shaking stopped, his muscles relaxed, and he fell asleep right in her arms. She walked into her room and unsealed a scroll and a vial of blood from the bottom of her drawer. She unrolled the scroll, revealing the summoning seal drawn on it, and performed the hand seals before slapping her palm on the scroll. Kachiyose no jutsu, he says. Hinata-sama, where am I? As the smoke cleared, a small bird inquired. I apologize, but I am not Hinata-sama. I am her comrade and the one she loves as loyal subordinate. That's true, but why have you called me? I have important news to deliver to Arashigakure and Hinata-sama. Alright, I'll do it, the bird said. What is the significance of this message? Back in Konoha, Naruto encountered Kakashi in a training field some distance from the village, accompanied by Tsubaki and a pair of Konoha Anbu, and accompanied by Kakashi was a man whose face seemed to be permanently frowning and who wore a headgear similar to that worn by the second Hokage. Sorry, Kakashi, I hope this isn't meant to be private, he explained, but as guests here, we can't walk around without someone watching us, and Tsubaki here is under strict orders to never leave my side. That's fine, Kakashi said, I expected that, and it's not like it's some village secret. So, what are we going to do now? Let me show you this before we begin. Kakashi extended one hand and grabbed his wrist with the other, forming a Rasengan in his hands with some effort before letting it dissipate. I had no idea Kakashi could do the Rasengan. Yes, Yondaime-sama, it was created by my sensei, Kakashi explained. However, it is an unfinished jutsu that even he cannot complete. I attempted to finish it, which is how I came up with Reikiri. Kakashi performed the Reikiri and explained the basic principles of Reikiri pertaining to chakra nature manipulation and chakra shape manipulation and how no one had ever been able to combine into one jutsu. I see, so in order to complete the Rasengan, one would have to use nature manipulation as well as the Rasengan because the Rasengan is the pinnacle of chakra shape manipulation. Hearing his explanation, Kakashi was taken aback. He knew Naruto was different from how he used to be, but when did he become so wise? Exactly, now show me your Rasengan. With no effort, a swirling orb of chakra formed in Naruto's hands. He isn't using shadow clones like he used to, and there was no visible effort. Alright, you've mastered shape manipulation. Now for nature manipulation, Kakashi said to the man he'd brought with him. As I explain, Yamato will demonstrate. First, we must determine your chakra type. There is no need, Kakashi. I already know what it is, and I have mastered not only my own nature, but also water, and I can also use lightning and fire. What? What is it then? Kakashi asked, surprised. Kakashi couldn't believe what he was hearing, and neither could the Anbu. Not even 3 years ago, the only thing Naruto could do was Kage Bunshin no Jutsu and Rasengan using Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, and now he's claiming to have mastered 4 elements. It's wind, Naruto said, and then released the molded chakra in his hands in an arc on a nearby tree, slicing it neatly down the middle. He didn't say anything about his ability to bend it. That was something the old Naruto would have done, but the new Naruto knew the value of secrets, and he wasn't about to let the Anbu calculate it in his presence. I see. Kakashi was taken aback by this revelation, but he hid it like a pro. I guess I should leave you to it now that you know what to do. You're good at masking your emotions, Kakashi, but I'm a lot better at it. I always have been, Naruto said, his eyes wide with surprise. Now, what's bothering you? I thought you'd be proud to know that a student of yours has accomplished so much. Don't misunderstand me, Naruto. I am. It's just that after seeing how Sasuke turned out, I wanted to be like a sensei to you. We all know that I made a terrible decision back then, Kakashi said, pulling out his book to cover his eye. You are correct. You did make a terrible decision, and my strength probably has nothing to do with you, and there are many things I could say to that, but it would be pointless, Kakashi said, unable to read the pages in front of him because they were no longer entertaining. However, Naruto drew Kakashi's attention. I heard that you disobeyed Tsunade-ba order Chans to come and get me after the fight. You did allow me to go when I was here so long ago. You did tell me who my father was, and I saw how hurt you were back then when you thought I had died. Kakashi shifted his gaze to meet Naruto's solemn expression. I can't hold a grudge against you for that, so I'll give you a chance. And what exactly is that, Naruto-kun? Kakashi's brow furrowed. Well, after I finish this new technique, I'd like to finish mastering Earth. It would be an honor, Kakashi said after a brief pause. Is it a stretch to try to complete so many tasks in the time you have left here? You just leave that to me. The field suddenly filled with shadow clones. In the meantime, in another part of Konoha. So, Akahoshi-san, we finally meet, said the one-eyed and one-armed ninja, Cripple. My subordinate informs me that you have something to offer me in exchange for a favor. Yes, I want you to assist me in overcoming the current Kanshisha, the man said, and I have already gained a powerful ally among his elites. What makes you think I would assist in such an action? We're talking to him. Because I know how you truly feel about him, and I know you have the power to prevent Konoha bloodlines from falling into the hands of another. Yes, the Jinchuriki has outlived his usefulness, and the Hyuga girl will return to Konoha soon, the man said. You only waste my time, they will be dealt with at my leisure, good day. As he walked away, he could hear Akahoshi laughing. You fool. Akahoshi laughed. Hiashi has no chance in hell against that girl, let alone that monster known as the Shodai Kanshisha, Uzumaki Naruto. What? That fight tomorrow will be nothing more than a taijutsu spar for her. She might not even get a scratch, let alone sweat. It appears that I may have underestimated your usefulness, the old man admitted. Please come this way, we have much to discuss. Yes, Danzo-san. A pair of veins pulsated on top of the Hokage Tower as it observed Danzo and Akahoshi's conversation. Can you see them from this distance, Hinata? Tsunade inquired. Yes, my eyes have grown far stronger than Neji Nizan's. I see, Tsunade said, looking in Hinata's direction. So what have you discovered? The ninja we once held in captivity was indeed rude, and he was one of the Anbu you brought, and Danzo is going to help him overthrow Naruto-kun, and then they will organize their strength to make a decisive hit against you. Naruto-kun has become quite insightful in the last few years, Tsunade observed, and it's good that he has you by his side. The fools in this village can only see what's directly in front of them, and sometimes not even that. I only believed in him, she explained. He showed me how to be strong, so I decided to be strong so he wouldn't have to worry about me. Hinata laughed. Of course, when you love someone, you worry even if they have the strength of a god in an immortal body. Tsunade could only stare at the extraordinary young woman in front of her. She had changed so much in such a short time. She had become the perfect example of what an ideal kunoichi should be, but she had kept her gentleness and faith in love. Do you have a problem, Tsunade-sama? No, it's just that. Are you concerned about tomorrow? I know it must be weighing heavily on you. Actually, I'm fine. It'll most likely be a taijutsu fight, and my father will most likely try to weaken my resolve or show how weak I am by having me fight Hanabi or Neji, she said thoughtfully before laughing a humorless laugh, maybe even both. How will you handle that? Tsunade wondered. Hanabi was more talented than you. Neji is a genius, and your father is a Jiyuken master. Yes, was, she said emphasizing the past tense, but that is no longer the case, Tsunade-sama. One of my life goals was to change the Hyuga clan, and tomorrow I will do just that, handling them as a storm ninja will. I'm excited about that. A bird flew towards Hinata and landed on the railing in front of her. Hinata, the bird said, I have important news from Mira-san. A talking bird? Tsunade wondered, could she have one? Mira is now in Iwa, Hinata remembered. Can you tell me what this urgent message is? Iwa is preparing to launch an attack. Hinata rushed back to the mansion with her Anbu escort as quickly as they could. It wouldn't do to make it appear as if she was attempting to flee. And succeeding. To say the least, this news was upsetting. This had to happen just as one of the most important things in her life was about to happen. Hinata was dissatisfied. She arrived at the mansion after a few minutes and found Naruto sitting in the backyard with guests. Ah, she appears to have arrived, Naruto said to the two visitors, Hinata-chan, we have. He came to a halt when he noticed the expression on her face. Is there something wrong? It was Neji and Hanabi who turned around as he said this. She would have been overjoyed to see them at any other time. Hinata-ne-san, Hanabi said warmly, I've missed you. Yes, Neji confirmed, it's been a while. Have you been taking care of yourself? Hinata approached her sister and cousin, smiling and giving Hanabi a sisterly hug. I missed you too, Hanabi-chan, she said as she let her go, and I've been doing quite well, Neji-ni-san, but our reunion will have to wait. Naruto-kun, there is a serious situation. I see, he said as he stood up and walked inside with Hinata, excuse us. Hanabi turned to her older cousin when they were gone, pride and joy written all over her face. Ne-san appears far more confident and powerful than before. Yes, Neji agreed, it's as if she's transformed from a shy, frail little girl into a strong, beautiful woman. I'm curious about the grave situation she mentioned. I, too, am curious, Hanabi admitted, but I'm confident I can find out. Byakugan. Hanabi opened her eyes and looked through the walls that separated them from Hinata and Naruto, but when she did, Naruto's head turned, as if sensing her eyes, surprising the young girl. Are you okay, Hanabi-sama? Neji inquired. I just had a fleeting thought that Naruto-sama might have sensed me. But she got a rude awakening when she started reading Hinata's lips because Naruto was facing away from her, only to discover Hinata's Byakugan was also active, and what she saw was not words to Naruto, but to her. Hanabi-chan, please don't spy on us while we're talking. It's quite rude. Dash. She immediately turned off her dujutsu and decided to wait for them. Did you discover anything? Neji inquired. Nothing, she said flatly. Now that that's taken care of, Hinata said as she turned off her dujutsu, we have a serious problem. What exactly is it? Iwa has made the decision to attack the storm, Hinata explained. I expected them to do it sooner or later, which is why I assigned Mira to them, Naruto grumbled. Old men who have been in power for too long have no idea how predictable their actions are. It was through her that we obtained this information, Hinata explained. So, what shall we do? Stop it immediately or extend a warm welcome? How much force are they sending? 50% of their Junin, as well as a significant amount of Chunin. In that case, we need to stop them, notify Kai, and I want your department to take care of them as much as possible before they even set foot in our country. What about Mira? I'll have Mira try to negotiate with the Tsuchikage, and if that doesn't work, I'll have Riku negotiate with the Shinobi themselves, and if that doesn't work, I'll have you and Kai's department show no mercy, but I want your department at the front. They'll get help from Riku and Kanta, and Tanoko will help Kai's department. How will you bargain? He will be given a choice. Either he ceases his actions against us and I will bear no resentment, or he continues and faces the consequences. I see, Hinata replied, no prisoners this time? They knew how each other thought because they had trained under the same master. A ninja's mercy was when you survived despite going against them on purpose. When Iwa first attacked, Naruto showed mercy by sparing the lives of some of the shinobi. However, there are no second chances in the ninja world. Once mercy is shown, it will never be shown again. There will be no prisoners. It was regrettable that such a decision was made, but it was something that anyone in such a position would have done. After all, it wasn't like Iwa was attacked, their pride was hurt, so they came for vengeance, and thus comes the inevitable fate of those who seek vengeance. Following that, Naruto and Hinata summoned appropriate types of toads and birds to deliver their orders before returning to their conversation with Neji and Hanabi. So, Hanabi, how's your ninja training going? As the Tsuchikage made his way to his office, he couldn't help but feel pride in his ninja and excitement at the storm's impending demise. As he walked, he noticed a little girl crying in the street, which bothered him, so he approached the girl. Because of his height, he didn't have to bend much, which would have aggravated his back. The morning was simply too beautiful for that. What's the matter, little one? He inquired, his face serious, or are you? As she dried the crocodile tears, the little girl's sobs turned to chuckles. I guess a henge isn't enough to deceive someone as wise as you, Tsuchikage-san. I'm going to disregard your jab at my age and take it as a compliment, but who are you? You're obviously a ninja, but none of mine need a disguise. Several masked ninja appeared around the girl as he said this. Can we talk in your office? She asked cheerfully. I am a busy man, he said. State your case now or be killed immediately. Very well, she sighed. I won't say who I am. What I am is one of Kanshisha Most-sama's trusted and powerful ninja, and I come bearing a message from Kanshisha-sama to you. As soon as she said this, Tsuchikage and the other masked ninja were on high alert. They would have tried to kill her if it hadn't been for Tsuchikage. If that is true, then your village is already aware of this, but since you are here, it means you want to make some kind of deal. He scratched his chin before continuing. Well, since you went to all the trouble of infiltrating my village, tell me, what is this message? These are Kanshisha word samas as they were delivered to me. I have done you no trespass but defend my own. If you continue to be hostile to Arashi, I will be forced to take further action. I'd rather it didn't come to that. If you stop, I will forgive you and forget about this incident. That's all. In that case, inform your master, this Kanshisha of yours, that he will pay from the men and women he has killed, and he is a fool to defy me. Very well, she replied, but know that you were asked nicely and given an alternate solution. Kanshisha-sama is very kind like that, and the next time you see an Arashi ninja, it will be someone worse than me. One of the masked ninja stopped her as she attempted to walk away. Why don't you bring that henge down so we can see who you are? What kind of ninja would I be, silly, if I did that? She laughed and skipped away from the group in the direction of the gate. Follow her and make sure she leaves the village without being stopped. Good day, Tsuchikage-sama. That stupid brat dares to send such a message, Tsuchikage mused. I will show him. Tsuchikage-sama, why didn't you let us capture her and question her for information? One of the masked shinobi inquired. It would have been pointless. She exposed herself for the sole purpose of speaking with me, so I doubt it would have been easy, if at all. What does this mean? Naruto wondered as he approached Training Ground 1. I'd like to know that myself, Tsunade said, turning to face her counselors. So, explain yourself. They had nothing to do with this, Tsunade-sama. It was entirely my fault. I see, Tsunade observed. You have a lot to explain, Hiyashi. I only did this for the sake of the Hyuga clan and Konoha. If that's true, Hiyashi, tell me how a fight between you and Hinata would benefit Konoha and the Hyuga clan, Naruto inquired. Hiyashi did not like being addressed in such a superior manner by someone much younger than him, but this person held a much higher office than him and had the Hokage's favor, so caution was required. Nonetheless, it will not deter him from pursuing his objectives, whatever they may be. I noticed that this match could be used to introduce your people to the Leaf and demonstrate your power. You have a way with words, Hiyashi, Naruto observed. I would have believed you 3 years ago. What exactly do you mean, Kanshisha-sama? Hiyashi asked, his gaze drawn to Naruto from the corner of his eye. As they walked, Naruto only laughed and wrapped his arms around Hinata's waist. Nothing, Naruto said, taking her hand in his and kissing it. It's just that we don't believe you, Hiyashi, Hinata Saya laughs at Naruto's attention. Whatever the case, my reasoning remains. Seeing as you brought it up, Naruto said to Tsunade, it would be a terrible waste of your ninja's time to only see one fight with such a large crowd. So, what do you propose? 2 more matches, to energize the crowd for the main event, Naruto continued, smiling, and, as Hiyashi said, this will serve to demonstrate my power and why we are deserving of being your ally. That sounds like a great idea, Tsunade said, and I'm in need of some entertainment as well. I had the same thought. Hokage-sama, an Anbu emerged from the ground, the accommodations you requested are ready. Alright, lead the way. Are you also here? Yeah, it's annoying, but we got a summon to come here, Shikamaru sighed. Where is Akamaru? He was injured a while ago and is now recuperating at my sister's clinic. Lucky dog, Shikamaru muttered under his breath, causing Kiba to burst out laughing. Still as loud as usual, I see, said Tenten. I guess you guys got that summons from Hiyashi-sama as well? Yeah, Sakura said next to Shino, but why do you think we're all here? Half of Konoha's ninja are here. Tenten's features, as well as the majority of the other 4 Chunin and 1 Junins, immediately took on a look of poorly concealed contempt. What is she doing here? Enraged Tenten. I received the same summons as you, Sakura explained. In addition, I have wonderful news to share with you all. I wasn't addressing you, bitch. Hey, come on, lighten up you guys, Ino said, a strained grin on his face. It's been a long time since then, can we all just get along? As she said this, the oppressive atmosphere lightened, allowing Sakura to breathe again. HMPH, don't think we're friends, Ino, Tenten said as he turned to walk away, are you too? Tenten stopped dead in her tracks as she called her teammates to leave the group, staring mutely straight ahead at her. Her knees buckled and her voice hushed as she frantically called over Neji and Rockley. Neji, Lee-kun, hurry up, you have to see this. What is it, Tenten? Lee asked urgently, have you suddenly become ill? No, look, she said, pointing to a spot where a tent had been set up. At this point, the other became interested in who was in the tent. It can't be, one person said. It's impossible, another said. Could it be that woman next to him? A third person asked. I don't know, she has the eyes, but that could be her, she seems far too confident, said a fourth. Hey, I guess we're still wrong about him after all this time, another said, as the majority smiled and looked upon him with pride, while the others looked on in disbelief, and some with no look at all. Tenten looked around at her friends and noticed that neither Neji nor Sakura's team seemed surprised. Even Shikamaru found it difficult not to express his surprise at not only Naruto's survival, but also the drastic changes in attitude and appearance that he and Hinata had undergone. "Why don't you look surprised, Sakura?" Tenten asked. "Are you disappointed that he isn't dead, or are you just inwardly happy that he can save you, precious Sass?" A fist made contact with her mouth before she could finish. "Don't ever call me that name again," Sakura snarled. "I've grown up since then. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I'm willing to try." Her eyes were welling up with tears. "I have suffered for the words I have said and the things I have done, and I know now how Naruto felt, and no matter what you say to me, you couldn't hate me more than I hate myself." Sakura paused for a moment to dry her tears before continuing. "My team met Naruto on a mission a while ago. He said he didn't hate me, just that he might never trust me again. But he called me his friend once, and I know now." "Good luck with that one," Tenten said as she turned to face Ino. Ino developed a fearful expression and hid behind Choji. "What's the matter with her now?" enraged Tenten. "I believe he's looking at us." Tenten quickly forgot her rage and turned to face Naruto, who was sitting next to Tsunade. "I believe you're correct," Tenten said, smiling. "I wonder if he remembers what you two said about him all those years ago?" "Why you wouldn't," stuttered Ino. "It's pointless, Tenten," Sakura explained, "because he already knows. That is why I am so certain. I'm sure Hinata would have informed him. No, he was present." This piece of information brought complete silence over the group of 9 young ninja. Naruto had known. He was there to witness his own dishonor. Those who didn't know were afraid he would think they were part of it, and Ino, who was actually part of the celebrations, wanted to slink under a rock and die. "I hope he doesn't think we're all like you, Ino and Sakura," she said, "and if he ever trusts you again, he's either a fool or a bigger man than anyone. In any case, that is the type of friend neither of you deserve." "I know," Sakura stated solemnly, "but Naruto never gave up, and neither will I." Naruto, Tsunade and their respective officials sat under a tent as they discussed who would proctor the matches. They eventually decided on Kakashi because he was considered a friend of Naruto and one of the Leaf's most loyal shinobi, so any idea of dishonesty was out of the question. However, Akahozi did raise the thought that Kakashi might be inhibited because he only had one eye. After that, Kakashi moved to the center of the clearing and cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. "Today, Hiyashi-sama has summoned you all to witness an exhibition fight between the ninja of Arashigakure and the ninja of Konohagakure in the interest of camaraderie and friendship between us for the betterment of the alliance. Without further ado, I present the first fight." "Wow," Kiba exclaimed, "I never expected this. I'm curious if Naruto will fight." "Indeed, this is a most unexpected turn of events," Shino said from beneath his hood, nearly startling Choji. "I, too, would like to see how far he and Hinata-san have progressed." Konoha's Yuhi Kurenai versus Arashi's Hikari Shigur. Shigur took a stance and held one hand on the blade she carried, her eyes glazing over in icy coldness. Kuriani calmly looked at her opponent, who was dressed more like a girl on a picnic than a kunoichi in a serious fight, but her eyes told a whole different story. "Ha ha ha," Kiba exclaimed, "tear that girl apart, Kurenai-sensei." Shikamaru looked across and observed Sakura's face, which appeared to have concern etched on it. She was brought out of her daydreams by Shikamaru. "Is she really that strong?" he inquired. "I'm not sure," she admitted, "because she doesn't have normal chakra. Kurenai Genjutsu senseis might not work. Kurenai, being a Junin, will find a way." "It's not just that," Sakura said as they assessed each other. "She is an elite of his village, and Naruto has enough faith in her to bring her along on a mission to assassinate Orochimaru." Hearing this, the Chunin and one Junin decided to reconsider their stance on the seemingly innocent-looking girly girl. Kakashi brought his hands up between the two kunoichi and, after checking to make sure they were both ready, dropped his hands in a chop and shouted begin before leaping out of the way. Shigure leapt into action, yanking the blade, but instead of speaking, she yelled. I've been told to warn you, we of the storm train ourselves to the brink of death, and as members of Uzumaki Elite Sama's group, the Jukyu no Arashi, we train with our very lives on the line, so. A plume of pink chakra feathers erupted from her tailbone. Treat this as if your life depends on it. She charged at a stunned Kurenai, murderous intent in her eyes, and aimed her strike at her neck. Kurenai was able to regain control of her senses just in time, ducked under the swing, and kicked Shigure in the stomach, sending her flying back. Kurenai was racing through several hand seals at the time. Kokoni Arizu no Jutsu, Megan. While the genjutsu took effect, she reached into her kunai pouch and pulled out a kunai and a pair of shuriken, which she tossed at the unwary Shigure. She threw them at her legs, intending to disable her, but she deftly used her chakra plumes as a shield to repel the attack. How are you supposed to be trapped in my genjutsu? She inquired. Kujaku mai. Kimono, if you have the time to be surprised, then this fight is over. The chakra plums then merged into a bear-like creature and charged at Kurenai, intent on ripping off her head. Kurenai cursed as she drew an explosive note, wrapped it around a kunai, and tossed it at the beast. It exploded on contact, leaving a cloud of smoke and debris in its wake. She took out another kunai and carefully examined all of her angles to avoid being caught off guard. However, something resembling a laser pierced the dust and smoke and headed straight for her. She was able to deflect it because it was not a laser but some kind of dense chakra. She ducked and rolled to the side to avoid Shigure's attacks. Kurenai evaded all of Shigure's offensive swings until Shigure cancelled the technique. Kurenai took advantage of the situation by employing one of her most powerful genjutsu. As Kurenai seemed to fade into the wind, a tree appeared out of nowhere and began to ensnare Shigure. Shigure, on the other hand, remained unfazed even as Kurenai appeared above her with a kunai at the ready. However, as she closed in on Kurenai to end the match, a rope of chakra wrapped around her neck and hands and tightened. That level of genjutsu is insufficient, Kujaku-mai said calmly. She reached into her pouch, but it was empty and in Shigure's hands as she pointed her blade at Kurenai and slowly extended it to Kurenai's chest. When Kakashi saw Kurenai's situation, he immediately intervened and called the match. Yuhi Kurenai is unable to fight. Hikari Shigure is the victor. Naruto smiled as she returned, stunned that one of Konoha's foremost genjutsu mistresses had been beaten so convincingly. Well done, Shigure, he said, standing up and handing her cocoa. I am very proud of you. Thank you, Naruto-sama, she rubbed her stomach. Kurenai-san must have kicked you harder than it looked, Naruto said as his hands began to glow green and he placed it over Shigure's stomach. Shigure visibly relaxed. Thank you very much, Naruto-sama. Tsunade was surprised Naruto could use medjutsu because, as a medic herself, she knew how much control it took just to do a simple thing, but she also knew how bad Naruto's chakra control was and how he was never the type to be able to do those kinds of delicate things. He seemed to sense her question as he finished and took off his haori and handed it to Hinata. My master once told me that unless someone has a special condition that allows or prevents them from doing something, there is no reason why anyone else can't do it. It will take more time and effort, but it is possible. He sounds like a wise person and a great teacher to be able to make you remember that. They laughed. Naruto and Hinata laughed at the remark because, during their time with Master Kyoshi, he literally had to beat and pound everything into Naruto, sometimes in cruel and inventive ways, until he got the message. Yes, he is a miracle worker and a master unlike any other, but I am forbidden to say who he is. Naruto noticed the counselors listening intently to their conversation, curious as to who this man was who could change even the dead last and shy hopeless Hyuga princess. Sorry guys, You'll never find him even if you search the entire continent. If that's the case, how did you meet him? I met him after I tried to find sound and nearly killed Hinata, Nei-chan, and myself. Naruto reflected. He was the one who killed those Anbu and framed Hinata. Nonsense. Those men were clearly killed by Gyuken, and I highly doubt anyone outside the Hyuga clan could do it, Hiashi exclaimed. Naruto locked his gaze on him before smiling. Hiashi, the ninja world's secrets are hidden in places that even the Byakugan and Sharingan cannot see. I'm afraid I don't understand what you're saying, Hiashi admitted. There's nothing the Byakugan can't see. Hiashi thought he had the upper hand because Naruto said nothing, but Hinata's soft yet strong voice drew him out of his reverie. There are things that the Byakugan cannot see because the wielder is too blind to see them. She turned to face Hiashi. Besides, the Byakugan cannot see the future or the past. I don't require these eyes to see into your future, Hinata. Hinata simply ignored him as she watched Naruto enter the field to face his opponent. Maida Guy vs Uzumaki Naruto, Kakashi said as he put away his precious ICHA paradise. All the spectators couldn't believe what they were seeing or hearing, and most had already written Naruto off because there was no way anyone could beat Maida Guy in a straight-up taijutsu fight, and as a Junin who specialized in it, he would twist the fight to his liking as much as possible. Hinata, you don't seem concerned at all, Tsunade observed. Why is that? There's no need to be concerned about Naruto in this fight, she said, looking dreamily at Naruto as he squared off against Guy. You should be concerned about Guy. That's ridiculous, Kaharu objected. Indeed, Homura added, Guy is eccentric, but his skill is not to be underestimated. I wasn't dismissing his talent, she explained. So, what prompted you to say what you did? The questions were getting to her, and their incessant digging for knowledge was beginning to grate on Hinata's infinite patience. They didn't even have the decency to see her as a superior, let alone an equal, just someone to exploit and dig for information. Just keep an eye on it. They were in for a surprise, because Naruto stopped wearing his restrictions and weights when he left the village after the Itachi incident. Out on the field, Naruto sized up Guy and Guy sized up Naruto. Guy didn't know what to make of Naruto. The last time he saw him in a taijutsu fight, he looked completely untrained. Kakashi himself was skeptical. Yes, Naruto had changed over the years, but no human could possibly reach Guy's level in a matter of 3 years. Guy's training regime alone may have. Have you already forfeited? Most people said, good choice. Guy-san, please do not insult me by withholding your weightlifting ability. Nobody, not even Guy, saw that coming. That's a very young thing, Naruto-kun, but I'm not wearing any because I can control my strength better than my precious Lee. Osu, Guy-sensei, Lee yelled from the sidelines, vowing to work 10 times harder to control his strength like you. If I can't, I'll do 10,000 push-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit-ups, 10,000 sit. That is my precious Lee, Guy said through tears, and now, my youthful opponent, shall we begin? Whenever you are prepared. Give us the go-ahead, Kakashi. Beginning of the second match, Maida Guy vs Uzumaki Naruto, Kanshisha of Arashigakure no Sato.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.